And I was thinking the last time we were all together, one of the things that we were talking about, I just kind of wanted to see where everybody was on this. We were talking about like not trying to eat the elephant all at once and taking your database and saying, okay, here it is, here's my database, but who do I really need to make sure that I get in contact with? Your avid fans, breaking that down, maybe handling that a little bit differently than generically your overall world of, 200, 300 people or whatever that is. I just wanted to remind everybody to do that. And if you have done that, good job, because I think that can make a big difference in how you stay focused with the people that are help growing your business. Because the people I'm talking about are the ones, I mean, Kay, the people who not only know you, they like you and they want you to grow your business, and they give you business, they give you names. Those are the people that we want to make sure that we don't somehow lose contact with. And the people you've done business with before, obviously. And then, I mean, let's talk about that just for a second. This doesn't have anything to do with the subject matter I'm talking about, but now I want it. With your database, I think it's probably good to break it out and say, okay, here's my avid fans. These are the people who have actually given me business. They're people who are saying, hey, do business with Lynn, do business with Kay, do business with Joe. Make sure that you're doing whatever you can do to make sure those people know that you like them. The second phase of that are the people that you have actually helped find a home or sell their home. Those people, you've got to stay in contact with them, because those are the ones, those are the sad days. Those are the days, the blue days, when you find out that those people have sold their house or worked with another realtor. That's that breakup day. She doesn't love me anymore. She was my best girlfriend. She was always cute, and we were going to get back together, and we didn't. That doesn't need to happen, because all that has to do is we just need to stay in contact with them, and they'll always choose you because they liked you in the first place. And then your third phase
Those are pretty.
Are these new people. You met somebody at a party, or your kids do something with them, or you're at a function and they've become part of the group. Those are your third phase people. And those people are kind of your outer sphere, but you want to stay making sure that they get the newsletter, making sure that they get the market updates, those type of things. But these other two, those, you want them to get that also, but you want them to feel special. So if you think about your database, don't look at it as one thing. It's because it's not. They're different in there. And there's probably 3 distinct things that we just talked about to make sure that you spread them out and make sure they're different. Avid fans, absolute people that you've done business with, look at them as your girlfriend, your boyfriend, that you don't ever want to break up with, but you better call them. Better call them or they'll break up with you. And your third one is everybody that you've met that you put into a new database. And we're going to talk a little bit about this 8 and 8 thing today too, because there's Jose found a TikTok that for all those who've gone through the momentum thing, we've talked about 8 and 8, but this is a guy talking about the actual way it all came about. You want to do it? We'll just do it right now.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a group of people that did this research project where they chose a community of homes. They went to this community, they knocked on every home, talked to every homeowner, and asked them the question, who's the #1 real estate agent here? And after they got through, they had a myriad of different answers, so it was a bunch of different agents. Not one single agent was dominant. They came back and they created a fake real estate agent profile, fake picture, fake contact information, and completed an 8x8 campaign, which is 1 postcard a week for 8 straight weeks to this community. After the 8x8 campaign was complete, they went back to the same community, knocked on the same doors, talked to the same homeowners, asked the same question. Who's the #1 real estate agent in this community? The majority of homeowners chose the fake real estate agent. Think about that for a second. This agent has never sold a home, doesn't even exist, but is being chosen as the #1 real estate agent in that community. Why? Because sometimes it's not about being the best, it's about being the most known.
Okay. So
there was a group.
So we've talked about that 8 before, and I think it's fascinating and I think that was done in California, if I remember right, when I read it the first time, but yeah, it was. And so for any of those people out there that are looking at, okay, I've got a specific farm area. What do I want to do with it? If you really want to become known quickly, an 8-and-8 campaign can be pretty effective for you. And there's, I just pulled off some of the stuff that we use there because I've got 8-and-8 and 33 touch. Some things that you can do in an 8-and-8 campaign. So the first one is just sending out like a personal brochure or a market report with your business card. That would be your first thing or let's say you met somebody in the neighborhood. Your first thing might be an intro, like a note card that says it was great meeting you, glad we're neighbors, or something like that. But the first one's just kind of like getting, your brochure, business card, a note card. Week 2, these are just suggestions. These are just people who've done it before. Send a recipe card, a community calendar, or a community calendar. Either one is just a thing of interest. Week 3, it could be seasonal. So like, let's say send something that can use like plants for spring. At this point, you might ask them to be a social media friend, or follow them, whatever the case is. But on week 3, because you're sending this out, it might make sense to try to connect with them on social media. Week 4, possibly a real estate review. What's happening in your neighborhood? Not specific maybe to them, but what's going on in the neighborhood, almost like their own little market update. Week 5, let's see, that's following up on the real estate review. Week 6, an item of value with a handwritten note, coffee card to Starbucks. Week 7, a news article having something to do with either the neighborhood or what's going on in the market, or something like buying buyer closing costs or selling process scrap, anything along those lines. In week 8, video, email, text, love to stay in touch, something again that reintroduces you as a personal person of a branding piece. So I'm just putting that out there just as a suggestion because it's something I've pulled off on 8-and-8. You can send whatever you want. The idea is it goes out 8 times. And obviously it's a financial commitment, as anything is when you do these things. But this one's got a study to it that people actually, after this time period, recognize you and you're a branded agent in your farm area. And that's something you want. So what does that cost you? What's your return on investment? I'm curious, has anybody ever done an 8-and-8 campaign? Glenn, you have? Where did you do it?
And it doesn't have to be a neighborhood either. It could be the top 20 people that are in my database.
Exactly. Your avid fans.
Yep. Yep. So it doesn't have to be 100 people.
You're just sending it for a week.
Yes, exactly. It could be 10 people.
Yeah.
If you want to test the market, and just 10 people that that you'd like to be in contact with. And that postcard could be something like Sean does with his newsletter. It could be things to do in July. It could be things like that too. So fun.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertainment is something they can use.
Sure.
Anyway, the reason we brought that up, it just hit our world here, what was it, Monday, when Jose sent that around to all of us. And I thought, well, I had to throw that out there to everybody because it's old fashioned, but I think there's an element of it that no matter what, it works. So, you have to look at it as your return on investment. Does it make sense? Do you think you can get something out of it? It's kind of like looking at what Kristen Kaufman did. A lot of work. I mean, I was with her when she was talking and she was doing the note cards and that, sending it and doing, I think it was like 250 or whatever, but her, and we're not talking about a long period of time. We're talking about a couple of months. All of a sudden, she's got a real live listing of exactly the place that she wants. right in her area. So cool stuff. And again, it's a return on investment. I don't know what that cost you, Kristen, to do that, because I know there was a cost to all that and how you did it, but it was very creative and it worked. So I'm only throwing these things out here as ideas. And if you guys want this 8 and 8 suggestion thing, that's I'll send that to you. While I'm talking about it, the other one is a 33 touch, and this is actually something that's a little bit broader in your database. It's funny, I don't have any of this down. I'm getting involved in the database today, but it's becoming the subject. Okay, so 33 touches is what this is. 12 times a year, you send a market report out or do a video on a market report. I would strongly suggest that when you do a market report once a month, if you can, do the market report with a video in front of you and even talk about the market report. Even if you got it on your computer, just turn your computer around and talk about it. It's just that much more. If you're going to take the time to do it the best you can, because that's the way you get the best out of it. Okay, 12 times a year, send a targeted direct mail piece. I think a lot of you do that anyway. I know, Kay, you got the calendars. A lot of you have different things that you do that's 12 times a year. That's 24. Do an annual real estate review on the people in your database, an annual freebie. 3 times handwritten note to the people who you are in contact with. Could be a thank you, congratulations, whatever's going on Facebook, be an easy way to tag them. A happy birthday, a happy home anniversary, a happy Father's Day, Mother's Day, etc. That's 33 touches. So anyway, that's just things on your database. What I wanted to get to today, how many of you ever have a phone call where and it could be that you made the phone call, because we can talk about this 2 different ways. Let's talk about you make the phone call. You know that somebody's interested in you as a listing agent. So you're making the phone call. What are some of the things that you guys are thinking? Because this is exciting. You know, this could be a listing. What are some of the things you're thinking that you want to do even before, sometimes before the make the call? What are you thinking? What's going through your head? Like questions, prepared. What's going through? What are you thinking?
Their motivation,
Yes, I know their motivation.
their time period, their needs, their wants as far as their real estate needs go.
Yep, definitely want to. You definitely want to know their time period, because that's going to help them how they even price themselves into the market.
Right.
What else, guys? What can we do that would be kind of like a hidden spy research for these people if we're going to call them?
Are they able to go through like the homeowner? Well, actually, are we as agents able to go through like the property homeowner tax records to find out
Don't remind.
like if some people are.
You can do it on Remind. It's REMINE, and it gives you all the information. Plus, I think it also gives their contact information, email, phone number. Yeah.
So since I've moved out here and started out here.
That can be helpful.
What is that again, Brent?
Remind, it's part of the
Oh,
MLF.
Remind. Okay, I know where you're talking about.
It's not Remind because it sounds like Remind, but it's REMINE.
Remind.
What else can we do? How can we find something out about them?
Foreclosures.
No, that could, but I was just saying, I'm thinking of something easy. How can you find Kristen's on, she's on mute. There we go. You unmute her, Everett?
Oh,
There
sure.
we go.
This is a quick question about phone calls. I'm really curious to kind of get input from the group. I am finding people do not answer their phones, period. Will not answer their phone if they don't know exactly who you are, because we're all getting inundated. I mean, even my phone is just off the hook. So I'm curious to see if that is just like a a city issue, or anybody, if other people are seeing that?
Hey,
I
really
don't
quick, guys,
is what's happening.
can we have, hey, Jamie, can you mute the TV or turn it down, the one that's over, but it's echoing twice through, so we can't hear.
She's on mute though.
No.
Oh,
Sorry, that's my.
Mine's muted. I just unmuted mine.
Oh, okay.
okay. But, Kristen, I
Okay.
missed your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'll make it quick. I'm just curious to know if people are getting, when they make these phone calls,
Yeah,
are people answering their phones? Because I'm not having any luck. In fact, my personal phone is just nuts. And I don't want to answer my own phone unless I've got a listing.
well, yeah,
And so
and
that, my question is that, am I isolated in that? Or are other people seeing that? And what's a better way to communicate? I think text for me.
yeah, I think a lot of,
Period.
here's what I think the world we live in now. I think that a lot of people will text somebody first to say, hey, I'd like to give you a phone call.
Yes.
So that you alert them so that they know what the phone number is. I think a lot of people, majority of people, if they get a phone call that they don't recognize the phone number, they don't answer it.
Right.
Obviously, you want to leave a message. But what I find a lot of times what you want to do, what I think a lot of people do, what you hear and see and whatever, is that Kay's gonna call me, and let's say that you're calling me because I am a possible listing person, and they even know that you guys have talked, but she doesn't have your phone number. Kay would then text me and say, hey, this is Kay Roberts. Do you have a minute, or what time would be good to call you to talk about X? And then you've got it set up so they will answer your phone call, and they also have your phone number and your phone text. Because they'll read your text, they won't answer your phone. So
Right.
that's a good point, Kristen.
That's what I'm seeing.
So that's a good point too, to talk about. If you're gonna contact somebody, I like the fact that we're even talking about this, because this is just mechanical, but if you're gonna contact somebody as a possible client, it's probably good to text them first and tell them who you are, why you were calling, and when would be a good time, is now a good time, or when would be a good time. That's a good point. Going back to, where can we do a little bit of research on our client?
Social media.
Social media, that's where I was getting to. Good, okay. So I think it's good, and Jared James brings this up too. Do just a quick research on, before you call, like, what's their Facebook like, their Instagram like, kind of get a feel for who they are. They have kids, they married, they single, whatever the case is.
Pain and pleasure.
Pain and pleasure.
That's what you're looking
Yeah, what they have.
for.
Yeah. Thought that was the novel that Glenn was reading and she was gonna share with everybody. But okay, so yeah, so research your client, because it'll make you feel better and make you feel more confident when you make that phone call.
I think it's important too, to like their things.
Sure,
But if they're posting, you should like it.
absolutely.
Because do you think people aren't looking to see? Oh, that was so nice, and make a little comment.
Comments are even bigger.
Yeah.
The comment, it helps everything with engagement. But so yeah, do some research, do some quick research before you call, and it'll make you feel
A lot of
better.
people post stuff every day, but never like anybody else's.
That's not smart. That's not smart.
No.
That's not playing fair.
Oh.
That's like when you send the pictures that you take into old people and they don't respond back. They just take them. They need to respond back, say, oh, I really like those pictures, but seems like you get over 80 years old, you just take it in.
Yeah.
All right, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Maybe another smart thing might be to research the local neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
What happened? Like, you might already know it, it could be that you know the neighborhood really well, but if you don't, a quick look at what's going on in that neighborhood, what's expired, what's sold, what's listed currently, It's gonna give you another confidence boost. Okay, so let's go to the next stage. And we're calling them. So, and I've got some of these questions too that I'm gonna sprinkle in that you guys can have. And, you know, my suggestion is just to use these when you make these calls, and just make sure that you kind of cover it. But what are some of the things, what's some of the information you're looking for when you finally make that call? Finally get on that pre-listing call, you're all on there, you're talking. Okay, what are you looking for when you're talking to somebody?
Trying to figure out what their plans are, what their time frame is, you know, if they're selling and buying, or if they're moving out of state, if they're, you know, relocating to somewhere else, if they need somebody for that. You know, just kind of.
Yeah, you want to see about like a double dip or something. Fantastic. Yeah, you want to know, you know, why are they moving? What's their time frame? And what's some other things? Time frame, like when do you need to move?
Budget, area,
What was that, Joe?
budget and area that they're interested in. If they're gonna move.
Yeah. Yeah, well, or what, it wouldn't hurt to ask them, what are they thinking? You know, like, what do they think their house is worth? Now they're, you know, that's because you're gonna have to price their house in, never hurts to ask. Why are they selling? Not a bad question. Could be a lot of different things, but that could create a different type of motivation. Is it okay to ask them to describe the house for you?
Recent updates, things like that.
Yeah.
Anything they've done.
Yeah. So you just kind of, to me, it's conversational. You know, like Kay just brought up, have you done any recent updates? Well, what's the approximate square footage of the house? You know, is there any updating that or if you were, here's an interesting question. This is a ninja thing. If you were to stay in your home another 5 years, is there anything you would do to it? That's a really good question, because that's kind of going to give you an idea that no, this home is ready to go. It is on target. That gives you kind of fuel in your tank to know what you're dealing with, or it's going to open up a discussion. Well, we really needed to do the kitchens and the bathrooms and closets mess. There's all kinds of things that come up.
Yeah.
But that's a really good question. So if you were to stay in your home another 5 years, is there anything you would do to it?
Also, if, I think it's good to ask about the house, you know, like what made them fall in love with it, what made them want to buy it.
Can you guys hear Kay on that? Did you hear Kay talk? That's so smart. Can you say that again, Kay?
Oh, I was just saying that I think it's important to find out what drew them to the house, you know, what are their favorite features, what are the things that they love the most? You know, is there something that attracted them that, you know, you can kind of spin into help attract other people to it?
Exactly. That's exactly why you want that. Because just because they're moving doesn't mean they hate their house. I mean, they just might need a bigger house, or they might be downsizing. They might be just need to move to a different place. But what Kay just asked, that helps Kay market this house because she's figuring out what works in this sale. These are the things that drew them, attracted them to this, and this is probably going to be what, through the buyer's eyes, what's going to attract the buyer. Really smart. Did I miss somebody there? No. Okay.
I think the seller likes to see that too, because then if they see it in your marketing remarks and the verbiage and everything, then they're kind of.
They're
like,
in.
you know, yeah. then they're
Everybody's
like,
plugged in.
She paid attention, or, you know, now we know we're gonna attract somebody else, just like we, you know.
Yeah, and
just
you're
like
on the
we
same
were.
team too. You're listening to them. That's their words, their feelings, and they like you because you listened. What else, guys? Is it okay to ask if they're going to be talking to other people?
So,
They may have actual questions about our opinion in regards to upgrades or if they should invest any money into the property. Wanted to know if it's actually going to give them a good return on their sale, or if they should just leave it as is.
That is a good, and there lots of times they will, especially if they haven't updated their house and to figure out where they are in the market. And that's going to help you too, by if you've already looked at their neighborhood to see what's gone and sold in that market, you'll be more confident to be able to play around with that question. Here's another one from Ninja. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate its condition? Model home being a 10, poor condition 1. That's a follow-up question to the question of if you were going to stay in your home another 5 years, anything you do to it. So if if they answer that it's a 5, you know what you're dealing with. If it's a 10 and it's perfect, then that's even more unknown what you're dealing with. If it's a 1, you know that you got your work cut out. Do you want do you want it? Anyway, going back to, is it okay to ask if they're going to have other agents, interviewing other agents? Why would you want to know that?
It's good to know if you have competition.
It's good to know if you have competition. Here's another thing that I think that's good. If you know that there's going to be other agents, do you want to go first or last?
Yes.
Definitely want to go last. Definitely want to go last. And if you can get an agreement from them that, hey, I really want to do my research on this. I know you're interviewing other agents after they told you that. Would it be okay with you? Don't make a decision. I'd like to be the last person you meet with. So that you had the last shot, last one up at bat, to be able to give the full swing and hopefully hit the home run out. It's always better to be the last one at the table instead of the first one at the table. Even if it's just another person, it's still better to be the second person.
I think it's good too to find out what their past experience has been with buying and selling, just because there may be things that, the last agent didn't do that, then you can kind of work on that and make sure that that's something that you always do, or if it was something that, I don't know, if there was an expectation that,
I think it's
is realistic, great. If it's not, then, you need to kind of work through that.
Kay, that is brilliant, and it is in the book. Kay's writing the Ninja book.
I'm actually looking at it now.
So here's some questions that Kay's leading us into. If they did sell before, you want to talk about that. You want to talk about that because what was their experience like? What were your experiences like with that sale? How did it go for you? What did you like the best? What did you like the least? What would you do? What would you like to do the same or different on this sale? And this is a good one. I like this one. This is the kind of stuff, if you spin it right, you get a lot of conversation that helps you out of it. If you could wave a magic wand and have this sale go just the way you want it, what would that look like? Man, if that doesn't give you all the answers to the test before you take the test, right? Because then you just do that. If they're willing to give you exactly how if they could wave the magic wand and everything go the way they want it, and you can be that person, makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? So great point, Kay. Great point. You definitely want to get in and find those things out. Those are like winning the game before you play the game. What else, guys? Are we missing anything? You might want to do this too, because this is something that comes up as it's going to leave. Is there something by the chat? Yeah. You might want to ask them what their plan B is if they, let's say that they want to get sold in a certain time for a certain amount of money. You might ask them if they have a plan B. Why would you ask them if they have a plan B?
You never know what's gonna happen.
You want to walk them through their nightmare.
Right.
So you want to walk them through their nightmare, not to be mean, but to know that you want to get their urgency and their focus on plan A.
Yeah.
So walk them through and let them talk about plan B, about how bad that would be if that didn't happen. And we're not, your job is to get them on go and get them to where they want to go at the time they want to go at the price that they want. But there's nothing really wrong with walking them through a bad scenario, so you can be the one that fixes it.
Riding on that white horse.
It's exactly, and the only way you can ride on a white horse is you create the scene.
Right.
You're the, you're the salesperson in a positive sales. Salespeople get a bad reputation sometimes, but walking somebody through a scene that's unfortunate, and then you creating the solutions and the ability for them to get to where they want to go, that means that you're drawing them closer to you. Let's see if I'm missing anything here. There was something that Jared James said. Oh, I like what Jared James does here. Jared James, before he gets off the phone, he says, I'm going to send you an email about what we talked about. And can you do something for me? So he says, it's a mental thing. If you can get them to do something for you, you've taken control and they become part of your team. And what he wants them to do is really three things he has here. What do they think are the top three best selling points of their house? What do they think are the top 3 potential obstacles for buyers? Who do they think is the ideal buyer? That's fun and useful. And if they agree to do that, you're probably going to get them as a client, because they've actually chosen to work with you on an assignment. So the trick to that is you have this phone conversation. You have this great conversation, and hey, I'm driving right now, or I'm not next to my computer. I'm going to send you an email just to summarize everything we talked about. If you could just do these 3 things for me, and then there you are. Are we missing anything, guys? Because this is something that we don't talk about a lot, but it happens all the time. It's like one of these things in our world that we all come together and we talk about listings, we talk about buyer consults, but we really actually don't talk about what happens. This is really important, because if we set this up right in this call, this pre-listing call, our conversion rates can go up. And that's what we want. We want to do the best we can do consistently, almost like it's a system, which it should be really a system of how we handle that pre-listing call every time we handle it. And if we handle it pretty much the same way and ask the questions, the good questions like Kay was bringing up, and some of the others are bringing up here, those are the things that are going to connect you to that person. And then if you do some of the Jared James stuff, maybe you really even lock them in, have them work for you.
Maybe they'll cancel their other appointments.
Maybe they could cancel their other appointments and you just get the deal.
Exactly. That's what we want.
Because they love you and think that they can't live without you. And that's where you want to be. What do you think, guys? Are we missing anything? Is there something that you guys do that we need to be talking about that we haven't talked about?
You always ask, who do they know that's looking to buy, sell, or relocate as well, just to get referrals.
Nothing ever wrong with that. There's no downside to that.
You could ask them if they know of anyone who would like to buy their house, friends or family or anybody that they know.
Yeah, go ahead and link it up. All right, guys, I think we've covered a lot of it. And if anybody wants this, Kristen has done this in a really nice, pretty Remax gold. Looks like ours. It is ours. So if you would like to have this, I always love the fact just to have things as a crutch. So if you're on a pre-listing call, just pull this thing out. You can go through and just check it off as you're talking.
You can send it to me, please.
You too.
I'll send it to everybody. on the
Okay, we'll
call.
set it up. And I will also include the Jared James structure on the, just the extra, the first three of that too. And you guys want the 8 suggestions?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I want
Okay.
it all. I want it all.
You want it all, Diana? Okay, all right. That makes it easy.
I want to take you with me.
Okay, great. Yeah, there we are. Oh, and the other thing was, are you guys, I was just looking through my stuff today, getting ready for the meeting. This is yours originally, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and then Kristen made it pretty again.
No, she did it all. I just added a logo.
I know, we made the next goal. Just a reminder on this, because we're still 6 months or so out. Remember talking about this, that this was the, basically setting up your income and your activity goals. If anybody wants that, I just ran across it again, so I think we talked about it about maybe a month or so ago. Okay. Diana and Jamie and Sean. I'll just send it, we'll just send it out total. Just send it out total. I was just looking at it thinking, man, that's really good. I should probably say something about it because, you know, once we bring it up once, we probably have to bring it up again. Okay.
Good job, Brent.
Anybody else have anything?
Thank you for everything.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Great. Thanks for
you,
being
guys.
on.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.